Nobody's paying attention. Did you see what Google did with James Audubon? There are two things here that America should be asking. First, our responsibility to protect. Do we as good neighbors have any responsibility? Do we play a role in this at all? We funded and created the Zetas, just like we did in the Middle East with Al-Qaeda. Hello? They're literally in our backyard, and they are burying bodies while our kids are playing in the backyard. And I mean that literally. And what are we doing? We're neighbors. They're burying bodies, kidnapping, killing. Our kids are over here, and we're arguing about whether or not we should put a fence between us. The second thing is, what is our administration doing about this? Is our DOJ on this? Are they beefing up security on our borders? Are they cracking down on illegal immigrants? Are they looking for the Zetas in the 230-plus cities? No. No. God forbid somebody has the audacity to ask for papers. Because if you ask for papers, you're clearly a racist who just hates everybody who's different than you. Oh, my gosh, are we going to be remembered as a suicidal nation? Just this week, the president spoke glowingly of illegals who cross into America via the Rio Grande and compared those who came the right way through Ellis Island. Watch our president at work.
You live up to the idea that no matter what you look like or where you come from, whether you landed here, your ancestors landed here on Ellis Island, or they came here on a slave ship, or they just came over the Rio Grande, that we are all connected to one another, and we all rise and fall together.
If you just came over the Rio Grande, you are the same as somebody who came over in a slave ship. Wow! Mr. President, it does matter how you got here. One group came over to America legally. The other group, illegally. One broke the law, one did not. It's not the same, Mr. President. We are all humans, and we are all people, but we are all not Americans. Congressman Luis Gutierrez from Illinois, he's urging the president to just bypass the system. Well, why not? We practically destroyed it. He said, use your executive power or else, Mr. President, Latinos will not vote for you. Watch.
If the Congress will not act, then use the powers you already have. Use the powers that the Congress has already granted you. To the man that we elected President of the United States, yes, with our vote, with our energy, with our commitment, we sent him to the White House. And we want to remind him of the words that he uttered to us in order to gain our vote and our confidence, and to say, Mr. President, it's time you keep your promise. It's time you keep your...
We are building a dictatorship. But let's talk about the man's birth certificate. We have a responsibility to protect. That much is true. But first and foremost is to protect and defend the people and the Constitution of the United States of America. That is our responsibility to protect. Are we doing that? We are letting the drug cartels seep across our border. We are asking for a dictator. We're doing something else. We're setting up the gun manufacturers in our own country. I want you to chew on this. Think about this. There's a story out now that we set up the gun dealers on our border. The ATF goes to these small gun dealers on the border, asks them, can you help your country? Sell guns to us. And what we're going to do is we're going to give them to nefarious people and track them across the border. Then the government does a study and finds out guns are going across the border with nefarious people. And they're being used to kill people with. Now the ATF won't respond to Congress on why this happened. So let's see if we have this right. We sold out our gun dealers. Then I read this little Cass Sunstein story. The ends justify the means. Why not help guns across the border? Then report how many guns were used in illegal activity. And then, mark my words, not come to defend the lawsuits against the gun manufacturers here in the United States, because that's what's happening. Mexico is considering now suing the gun manufacturers. They're going to put them out of business. If you can't change the Constitution, destroy it. Go around it. What was Mr. Gutierrez? What did he just say? Doesn't it make more sense to sue America for not protecting the borders and stopping that? I mean, they have much deeper pockets. They're more involved than the gun manufacturers. It's a way to put gun manufacturers out of business without our government having to change a word in the Constitution. Oh, lawsuits are good, aren't they, Mr. Obama? This administration is using the border to take out our enemies and to feed off the chaos and trouble. I'm going to show you something next that, for the life of me, for the whole time I've done this show, I could explain a lot of things. I can't explain this. This comes from the State Department. We've been on the phone with them all day. I don't have the answer. I think it ties into the border, but you're going to have to decide. I don't have an answer to the new way you have to fill out. Possibly some people, they won't identify, some people will have to fill this questionnaire out to get a passport. Watch next. What our administration is doing on the border. It makes no sense, right? We're just ignoring it. The next story I'm about to show you makes even less sense. Reason.com linked to a story yesterday from a website called ConsumerTraveler.com. And this report is baffling. I saw it last night about 8 o'clock last night. And I said, can somebody verify any of this, please? It's baffling to say the least. There's a new supplemental application that you may have to fill out in order to get a passport. And here's the easy application. It's so easy. This one is 2 pages. The new one is 5. It may make things a little harder for you to get a passport or easier for the government to deny a passport. After becoming aware of the new questionnaire through the governmental website federalregister.gov, anytime the government issues news paperwork, they have to go through the OMB, okay? The Office of Budget Management, and they have to estimate things like, here it is, estimated burden on this. Well, these guys found this, and Edward Hasbrook, he's at ConsumerTraveler.com, he went to obtain the actual new questionnaire. We have it right here on the boards behind me, but here's what they found. Quote, the U.S. Department of State is proposing a new biographical questionnaire for some passport applicants. The proposed form DS5513 asks for all addresses since birth, lifetime employment history, including employers and supervisors, names, addresses, and telephone numbers, personal details of all siblings, mother's address 1 year prior to your birth, any religious ceremony around the time of your birth, and a variety of other information. According to the proposed form, failure to provide the information requested may result in the denial of your U.S. passport application. OMB says it's going to take about 45 minutes to fill it out. I challenge you. You cannot fill this out in a day. You look at these forms, and it becomes apparent very quickly that unless you have a photographic memory, it's going to take serious research to verify all this information. So, as I'm reading these things, I mean, they're asking you, can you name the employer you had when you were 14 years old? Because here lists all the current and former places of employment in the United States and abroad. If you worked at a McDonald's when you were 15 years old, you would not only have to say the company name, McDonald's, the address, the city, the county, the time employed, the supervisor, but you also have to provide his phone number. How is any of this relevant to getting a passport? Who do they not want getting out of the country? Okay? Because we're not worried about people coming in. We're worried about people going out. My first thought was, well, okay, we're trying to make sure that the passport is real. The passport is solid. Because we got to know, we have to make sure that you really are a citizen. But then I remembered, this administration doesn't care if you're a citizen. Whether you came across the Rio Grande just 10 minutes ago, you're just like somebody who's been here for 100 years. You can't ask any of these questions as an employer. Maybe it's for the radical Muslims that we don't want leaving and going connecting overseas. But then I remembered, this administration doesn't believe that radical Muslim terrorists even exist. Who are they trying to stop getting a passport and trap into our country? Or is it something more sinister? I think it's this one. Like the DREAM Act workaround. Why is it you're a racist if you ask a single question of somebody when they're coming into the country, but on the way out, you got to name the people that were present at your birth and give their phone number. Do you know the nurse that was in the room when you were born? I didn't have my pants and a pencil at the time. We reached out to the State Department earlier today, and we got a statement and a response from the State Department official a short while ago. Not shockingly, they didn't really answer any of the questions we had, just left us with more questions. You can read their full response at glennbeck.com. But we also have all of the forms. We have these up at glennbeck.com right now. I want you to go there. I want you to download this form, and I want you to try to fill it out. They say it'll take 45 minutes. No, it won't. No, it won't. I challenge you. I don't think you can complete this form by tomorrow. In a world gone mad where nothing makes sense, the only options I see here, not good. A, there's some problem that we don't know about. We can't verify citizenship. Outside of Donald Trump, I haven't heard about that problem. So, is there a real big problem? They say this is going to affect at least 75,000 people because they don't specify who is going to get this form. Not everybody will. You might not. Who? B, maybe this is a case for the national ID card. I don't know. C, they're trapping people here. Who do they not want leaving the country? That seems ridiculous. D, when you have the cries of the undocumented, hear me, when you have the cries of the undocumented, and no one will help, Congress won't act, call in Cass Sunstein, who's a guy who could say, well, wait a minute. Instead of trying to document the undocumented, why not make the documented undocumented? You figure it out. Read it. Try to fill this form out. Try to do it in 45 minutes. You can't. Read it now at glennbeck.com.